Good afternoon. Two hands to go through. Both hands I'm on the cutoff, and both hands I get all in. So, hand number one, we have a limper here. Limper's under the gun. We have to assume he's not very good if he's going to limp. I don't have a huge number of hands on him right now. I have from early position. I have 1 out of 7, so this now makes 2 out of 8, where he has just limped. Overall, he's playing 29-13, so 13% pre-flop raise. When we look at his pre-flop raises, he's raised 2 out of 3 in the mid position, 1 out of 1 in the cutoff. So he is willing to raise, which makes me think that he's probably doing something speculative. Maybe all something like this. Let's get rid of those. That's 15% under the gun. Something suited, Broadway. You've got pocket pairs, maybe all suited aces. We will tighten him up a little bit, even though it doesn't really look like he's playing position very well. So, it's probably something like where if he likes his hand, he'll continue. If he doesn't like his hand, he won't. We'll also include our suited connectors here. So we're at 21%. I think we're going to probably keep with that. This player raises. He's playing 67-42 out of 12 hands, so we have seen him raise now quite a bit. That doesn't mean he has a good hand. He could just be raising just to raise. 10 NL game, so we have to assume that he's knows at least a little bit about poker, but I don't have a whole lot of hands. So right now, pre-flop raise for early positions, 1 out of 2. Most of the time he's coming in for a raise. He's called a 2-bet from early position, so I don't really think he's raising for isolation. I just think he's raising because he likes his hands. So let's see what we can do here. He's probably going to be wider, so if he's going to play, he's probably going to be coming in for a raise. So let's give him all of those suited kings. He's probably something pretty wide. I mean, that's 38%. Maybe not all of those. Do we have no stats on him? So now it comes back to us, and I played 9-7 of clubs. 9-7 of clubs is a speculative hand. Right now we're looking at 48% against no yeah, I guess so. We're looking at what, 48%? I'm not sure about this. Yeah. Let's just make a new one. We've got 9-7. What we're going to do is put down clubs. So 9-7 of clubs. Suit selection. We're going to pick it. We're going to do our clubs. Apply the selection. So the only hand we have is 9-7 of clubs. And you can see at that point, we're not at 48. We are at 28% for our hand. So not the greatest. I think if we call, he's going to probably call. I'm going to guess he calls too because he's playing 30-15. This guy's playing tight, so I'm going to assume he's going to fold. Small blind might come along. He's 52-14, however, and he may see that, this will be a multi-way pot, so anything with some speculation. If I raise, I think the worst thing that could have happened if I raise is that he's going to decide he's pot committed and shove, at which case I'm probably going to have to fold. He's a short stack. Not really worried about these guys. If they shove, then they have a solid hand, and we're justified in calling. But this guy, because he's so loose, because he's so aggressive, I think he's going to be shoving with a wider range, and I don't really have any blockers to that to encourage folds. So I think this hand is either fold or call. I don't think it's going to be profitable to raise, so I called. Button called, which is kind of a surprise. Small blind called, big blind called, and this guy called. So we are looking at huge ranges for all of them. So, if we were to go to ranges, we're going to say just, let's say 50%. We're close to 50%. Let's give them a huge range. Suited connectors, suited or offsuit connectors, offsuit gappers. They didn't raise, so let's take out aces, kings plus ace king. Let's take those out and say everyone else has that. So now we've got 5, 6, 8. I think this is a great flop for me. So you can see it flop the straight. Probably one of the best flops other than flopping a straight flush that could happen to me. So now all of these players checked and he got to villain 12 and he shoves all in. He overbet the pot. And the question is, what is he going to do that with? So this is really player that we're concerned with. I think all of these other ones, if they call, I think the call is gonna be a flush draw. I think it's gonna be possibly a straight draw with the 7. We have the 7. I think it's gonna be trips maybe, possibly 2 pair if they feel frisky. Maybe the overpair, but again, none of these players raised. I think that if they had an overpair, I think they would have just raised. So this player here, I do think when he shoves, he's looking to he probably has top pair plus with a flush draw and probably, your at least open-ended straight draw. So we're going to say gut shot or pair plus pair, open-ended straight draw plus pair. We're going to give him all of these combos. So at that point, we're looking at, he calls, he's only 14%. We're at 70%, and I think that's probably the only guy that we're concerned with. So we have to call. Question is, should we raise? And I do. I think at this point he probably has such a wide hand. I'm actually thinking that he's probably more like this top pair overpair. So if we break down our groups, let's see if we can do group mode. Let's do top pair plus, and we're going to change these to the draws. Flush draw, gut shot, flush draw, open-ended straight draw, flush draw, over cards, and it's probably good. You're looking at 58% is the pair, 41% is the draw. Really, the only draws we're concerned with is that flush draw coming in. So, and I think if I shove, it's going to make some people with like the weaker flush draws consider possibly folding. What I don't want to do is call here and encourage, let's say, I guess we don't care if a 9-10 calls. But I think it looks weird to just call here. I really do. I think it looks weird. I think if I just call here, it's going to make it look like I have a solid hand. What did I do? I just called, and everyone folded. Probably rightfully so. So we see turn and river comes out 8 and then the 7. Probably the worst run out for us for this hand, because any trip now hits a straight, has a full house. Any 9-10 that was doing this on the gut shot hit a straight. Any spade. Now, the spade draw gets there with the flush. So he shows ace-9, which is really unfortunate because we had him crushed. Did we have ace-9 on there? Oh, yeah, it's in his range. You can see it. Actually, no, we didn't add the gut shot. Let's add that gut shot. So 2-card gut shot. Let's say 1-card gut shot. 36%. Is the gut shot. You're looking at a 1-card gut shot. So I don't necessarily fault the play. I think we can call, expecting it to go multi-way, and we're looking for a board something like this. And it's just unfortunate that the run out was, he caught a 3-outer for that straight. So, all right, so this is hand number 1. Let me close things out and get hand number 2. So hand number 2 is pocket 6s. So we have a raise here by villain 5. He's in early position. This is a 10 NL game, and unfortunately he only has 1.2 big blinds left. I don't think that really means a whole lot. Maybe he just lost and he's playing his regular game. I think he should have just shoved all in if he's going to play this hand, but we still have to come up with the range here. So I have 1,000 hands on him. He's playing 28, so 20% VPIP, 8% pre-flop raise. In early position, he is playing 12% raise first in. So let's see what a 12% range kind of looks like. So that's 11.2. That's 12.1. So that's about 12%. That's probably his range. Pocket 6s is going to be at the bottom. So I called, and I was calling to set mine, but should I have just raised? When we look at the player behind us, he has called. So 3 hands, he's called pre-flop 2-bet 50% of the time. This guy's called it 19% of the time. He's called it 22% of the time. I don't think any of these have really suggested that they're playing overly loose. I mean, they are playing loose. 31% VPIP, 26. This guy's only 3 hands. But our 6s against this villain, and I think we want to take it to the river, could have just been raised up to 9 big blinds and really put the pressure on them to call, and then we get to see a river versus this type of hand. So let's just get out since we are heads up. What are we looking like? We have 6 of clubs, 6 of hearts. And you can see that I estimate to win 43% of the time. I assume he's going to call no matter what. So, if we look at our equity, so I could have just folded, and that's 0 EV. Or I could have raised up to, let's see here. So he had 4 big blinds. So 0.43, so 43% of the time I win 4 big blinds plus the blind, so 5.5. And then the other percent, so 57%, I lose my 4 big blinds. So shoving all in is going to get me about 0.085 big blinds. It's definitely plus EV, and I probably should have taken it. So I didn't. I just called. And then we have 10 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, 5 of diamonds. And this kind of sets up an interesting point because he checks, and he could have bet everything. And I just kind of think if he's looking to get all in, why wouldn't he just bet the straights? So I'm going to assume he will call. If I bet, he's going to call all of his combo draws. He's going to call his flush draws. He doesn't really have any straight or gut shot draws. Could he have pocket pairs? Yeah. Pocket pair below the top cards, 8s and 9s. So probably calling all of those. If we break it down to pairs versus just pure draws, we are looking at 44.6% having pair plus, 7.19% having draws. When he checked, it's possible that he does not have any of these, and he's not being tricky. It's just he missed all of those. So then, if we miss all of those, then we can be looking at like this. Maybe he has pocket pair below second. I would assume he would have bet any pair, even bottom pair. So we're looking something like that. So now, against that range with sixes, well, I guess that was wrong. Oh no, yeah, for this range, we're at 65% versus that range. So we should just kind of bet, get it all in. After he just checked, he called, so it runs out ace-2. I think the ace is kind of scary for us. Same thing with the diamond, because I would kind of assume that he would have had some sort of draw in there. And he did. He had ace-king, so it was on there. The check made sense. He didn't have a pair, but he was committed. I don't know why he didn't bet to begin with, but maybe he was checking because he knew he was going to get all in, and he didn't want me to fold, which, I mean, at that point, the pot was big enough, and it was 1.2 big blinds. That was it. So we had it in his range. I do think he was going to be pretty tight. All right, so these were 2 hands. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Look tomorrow for a couple more hands.